We got a lot to talk about today. Boy.
Welcome, everybody.
I don't know if you guys were coming in and know this, but Joe Walsh is on fire, and he's a man on a mission. I mean, he has been tirelessly turning over every rock he can to make sure that Americans understand that his former party is out to destroy our democracy. And he's making, no bones about it everywhere. He's been a real champion in this fight.
I'm my friend Edwin. I'm bummed out though today. I can't tell a fucking lie. This Bolton raid this morning was just another punch in the gut. And I get mad because, like, I think when they write the book on this era, fascism didn't tiptoe into America. It told us it was coming, and then it came, and the average American right now doesn't give a damn.
I worry. I think we do give a damn, but I think people are still numb. They are. It's France Blitzkrieg stuff. They're not ready. I mean, before we even get to Bolton, last week when we talked, you were hoping Texas would stand down.
Yeah.
Right, because this is Fort Sumter. This is declaring war on democracy, and they did it. They declared war on elections. They said they shouldn't count. They said, we're going to lose if we have a fair election. We need to cheat. And now everybody's arming up. But this is a terrible thing. And you knew it was going to be a terrible thing. They did it anyway. Everybody knows it's a terrible thing. But we're now in a battle for our democracy. And Donald Trump is ordering this all over the country. And his minions, your former party guys, are saying, our party matters more than your democracy. To hell with you.
You said it, my friend. This is now an arms race. This is a gerrymandering arms race. And I know we're all prone to political hyperbole, but I said, and I believe this could well be the end of representative democracy, what Texas did. And Democrats have to respond. But you get to the point where anybody can redistrict before any 2-year election, and that's where we're headed in this arms race.
Yeah.
Well, then the average voter out there, Edwin, they look up every 2 years and they're in a different district. They got a different representative. They will no longer accept the legitimacy of that representation. I don't know how then you continue.
No, again, John Roberts is to blame for this. He made it legal, but he made it legal because he was asked to make it legal. I mean, all of this is appalling. And then you combine it with this, inchoate police state that's being built, one that, is sending troops into Washington, D.C., where there is not a crime wave, right? You have governors in states with cities that have real crime waves sending their troops to D.C., which doesn't have the crime wave they have. Just disgraceful stuff. And then you have the president saying, I'm mad at John Bolton, so FBI, drop whatever crime you're really looking at and go raid the man's house. This is Tin Pot dictator stuff.
And before our very eyes, my fear is it's all being normalized.
Well, you won't let that happen. I won't let it happen. I mean, there are a lot of people out, and I think anybody can get used to anything, but Americans don't like this.
You and I know so many people, businessmen and women who voted for Trump, and they're not MAGA, but they were pissed off at the Democrats.
Yep.
And they're not paying attention to this. Joe, it's August. I'm sending the kids to school. My business is doing well. I don't have time to think about fascism and the end of democracy and that shit. Yeah. I hear that all the time.
I get it too. So tell them your president, your socialist president, is buying stakes in companies for America. He's messing with the market. How is your company going to compete when the United States government is putting its thumb on the scale for favored companies? I mean, you want to be a good businessman. This isn't a good business climate for you. This is a corrupt one.
And he's Edwin. Trump is publicly enriching himself in right out in the open.
Right out.
Right out in the open. He's making billions, and he's not hiding it. And then again, I think Do the American people care about this? Will the American people care?
This one, Joe, gets me. I mean, an alderman in my city of Chicago takes $1,500, for a curb cut from somebody and goes to jail. And people want him in jail because he took $1,500. People are, they don't like when politicians enrich themselves at your expense. I cannot believe Donald Trump can take $4 billion and a jet and nobody cares.
And then you and I read an article in the New York Times at the beginning of the week, which showed in the 30 states that track voter registration,
Yeah.
Democrats have been hemorrhaging voters the past 4 years. Republicans have been gaining voters in every single one of these 30 states. We have a lawless, cruel, ignorant fascist in the White House, but the Democratic Party is losing voters.
So I saw that data, and a guy named Tom Bonnier, who's I think the best data guy on the Democratic side. Yeah, he and I had a talk like this one, and he this was before the New York Times article, but this data was clear. He attributed a lot of the reasons that Harris lost to that. It predated Trump in the White House. I expect Democratic voter registrations are going to go up because we have this fascist in the White House, and they went down because Joe couldn't defend himself. He couldn't defend himself against the attacks that were going on, and they struck. And Democrats said, "I need to, I don't know what's going on with my party."
You led the show saying, "I'm doing everything I can. You're doing everything you can." I mean, and it hit me this morning. This fucking Tea Party guy 2 months ago became a Democrat. My mom and dad, no longer with us, would be slapping me upside the head if they knew I became a Democrat. And they were not MAGA. They were just lifelong country club Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
But I did that. And I get beat up for it every day. But I'm hoping, and I'm trying to help other Republicans join me. Because again, you and I have talked about it. It's going to take a big tent.
A big tent. And I think we're getting it. I mean, I saw some group, the Third Way, put out some list of things that they said Democrats shouldn't say that mostly Democrats aren't saying. It was sort of Sydney Sweeney stuff like, oh my God, there's this huge problem. And it's not, there are people on the left who say crazy things, no question. There are people on the right, forget the right. There are people in the White House who say crazy things, but like Abigail Spanberger is running in Virginia and she's not saying crazy things.
What's her name? Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey, not saying crazy
things. Yeah. We got candidates out there doing so there's always this noise and your party doesn't, your ex-party does noise. Oh my God, the president is saying, forget the rule of law. And they're saying, wait, Cracker Barrel changed its size.
You know what?
Are you kidding me?
So my former party has what my current party doesn't have. And I used to be part of it, the right-wing media machine.
It's powerful.
And so, it's powerful because 5-6 years ago, one knucklehead on the left said, defund the police. And within a week, we all tagged the whole Democratic Party with that.
Yep.
And the right is very good at that. The left, not so much. The right has Fox News and everything else.
But the right also doesn't care what they say.
Bingo.
Who doesn't care, right? The president of the United States is saying, I'm the law. John Bolton is guilty if I say he's guilty. And nobody cares. I care, you care, but the right doesn't care. They don't care what he's.
So that's a great point, Edwin Eisendrath. We are up against a side that doesn't care about the truth at all. How do you fight a side that doesn't care at all about the truth? That's fascinating.
We don't need to win them all. There are enough people. We need to. We need to win enough to win. 3 or 4 points is a huge change, right? We need to, and he's pushing people our way, and we have to welcome them, and we have to say, you know what? We'll make the country better. We'll make the country better together. This madness has to stop. I mean, today, like 2 minutes before you and I talked, I just read a piece that Pete Hegseth is now fired the head of Defense
Yeah.
Intelligence,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, why? Oh, I don't know. Maybe he's just not saying what Donald Trump wants him to say. But the world is a real place and a dangerous place. And we're going to,
And we have a woman in charge of our intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who shouldn't be anywhere near our intelligence, and our allies shouldn't share any intelligence with her.
I
Our
don't think.
allies shouldn't share intelligence with Trump.
Well, I mean, our allies had to have an emergency, one of
Yeah,
those interventions they have
intervention.
with a drug addict, right? Last week.
Oh my God, Edwin, that's amazing. You just brought up that meeting in the White House. That feels like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was Monday.
Right.
But they all came into the White House because they don't trust Trump.
On a
And
moment's notice. They dropped everything.
really important people with really important schedules.
Yes.
They dropped everything to protect Zelensky and post Alaska to make sure that Trump doesn't fuck stuff up any further.
Well, look, I mean, all of the leaders of Europe kind of know that the Russian army has attacked Europe, has moved from the east and attacked Europe. And it hasn't happened since, I don't know, World War II, right?
Yeah.
And it's like obvious and Europe knows it. But Donald Trump is like, well, Zelensky shouldn't have started that war. What? What are you talking about? No, it didn't happen.
So we've spent almost 15 minutes. I mean, I'm irate right now and bordering on despondent again. You are a man of better faith and optimism than I, but things are bad right now. So I got to ask you, it's Friday, you're heading into a Friday night. What's giving you hope? Because I'm sensing more optimism from you.
Joe, first off, things aren't going to get worse before they get better. They are going to get worse, and we have to steel ourselves to this. I mean, look, I'm going to get to the optimism in a second, but I need to preface it by they cheated in Texas. They said, we can't win, so we're going to cheat. And they're not going to get away with it because we will meet them fire for fire. But then they're going to cheat again, right? If this isn't going to work, what are they going to do? And I fully expect all of those ICE troops to be going to polling places to try and repress votes when the time comes. And we haven't seen that in this country since the 1870s.
Yes.
It's a really terrible thing. And but when people are aware of this, I think they will stand up. I think they will go support their neighbors to go to the polling places. But we have to make sure they understand what's going on. I mean, J.D. Vance is heckled wherever he goes, as he should be, right? And these troops are not welcome wherever they go.
Do you believe do you though believe like I do that most Americans do not want to see the military on our streets? Do you believe that?
I do believe that.
I do too.
I do believe that. I don't think they want on our streets. And I think people, a lot of people who just cannot believe that they could lose an election to the other side. They can't believe it. But you know what? Sometimes you lose an election to the other side. Did
you hear what the fascist said an hour and a half ago? He said African American ladies in Chicago are telling him, please, Mr. President, bring the military to Chicago to do something about it. He's coming, Edwin. He's coming
here. Good. They can surround Trump Tower here. But I can tell you this, there's going to come a time when we are going to sell tickets for tearing his name off that building. And when we do, we will completely take Illinois and Chicago out of debt. That's how much those tickets are going to be worth to tear his damn name off that building.
Well, play it out, Mr. Chicago. Let's say that he sends the National Guard and or Marines onto the streets of Chicago. Mm-hmm. How will Chicago push back against that?
Well, I think largely we will do what every other city's done, what LA did and what Washington is, mostly ignore them. Where are they going to hang out? They're going to hang out by the bean in the park. They're going to hang out like at our tourist sites like they are elsewhere, because if they think they're going to patrol some of the tough neighborhoods in Chicago, they're going to get in a shooting war and they're going to kill people. And that, I mean, we went through that in the 1960s at Kent State and other places, and the reaction is not good. If they send their troops into these neighborhoods and they shoot people, Americans really will throw them out in numbers they can't gerrymander around.
I think the key is what you said this Friday. Things are going to get worse before they might get better. I put in might. You said
Yeah.
they will.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so the question, Edwin, is for how long do you see things continuing to get worse?
Until we get them out of power, Joe. I mean, everything they're doing is making the country sicker, poorer, less secure, a pariah in the world, while they line their own pockets. And that's what they are. And I listen to people say, "Oh well, we should lobby Congress for this bill or that bill." It's like, forget it. Forget it.
Forget it.
It
Forget
is
it.
only going to get worse while they're in power. There's nothing we can do to make them change their minds. There's nothing we can do to make them good citizens. There's nothing we can do to make them stop lying. I mean, they passed the biggest deficit busting bill in the history of the world and somehow are saying, oh, well, we just gave ourselves a little tax cut and everything's going to be fine. We're going to make it up in tariffs. P.S. Tariffs are taxes. And, regular people are paying them. Oh, and prices are going up. And J.D. Vance is saying, oh, well, the price of housing is going down because there are no immigrants to take the housing. I'm sorry. I'm trying to help my son find an apartment. The price of housing is not going down.
You caught me at a bad moment because probably once a week I get really bummed out about what happened to my former party. And you've got Trump out there, as you said, Intel, bragging about grabbing a piece of a private company. And this Republican Party cheers that on.
Well, I mean, let's call them what they are. They are the new Socialist Party. They're the
Thank
new,
you.
you're going to own the means of construction party. And they can whine all they want about, oh my gosh, there's a candidate for mayor who wants to open a grocery store in the Bronx. Oh my God, that's so terrible, right? But I'm going to have a golden ticket for a share in a steel company, and I'm going to own Intel. And right. And by the way, who's voting those shares? How does that work?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or is it just bribe Trump and he'll vote him one particular way?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's massively corrupt. It goes against everything. Frankly, both parties in America have believed in free enterprise and have believed in markets, regulated markets, but markets. This guy doesn't. He believes it's up to him.
I have a hard time not getting pissed off every day. But like Gavin Newsom has done a really good job of mocking him.
It's been fun.
Do you think that's effective? I'm not as good at that.
I don't care if it's effective. I'm enjoying it. Let's just say, I mean, what the hell? Let's have yes, people like it.
Yeah.
We should, I mean, all the literature is like, you should make fun of the king, right? Yeah. And laugh at him. They don't like that. I mean, it is a form of self-preservation, but I mean, they're abusing power and they're abusing coercive power. Not the, like, I'm going to give you a curb cut for $1,500.
Yeah.
I mean, the power to put somebody in jail. They are abusing the Justice Department, abusing the FBI, and unfortunately, they're abusing the military. It's terribly frightening. Terribly frightening.
And they're blaming brown people and black people and Muslims for American decline. And then they're disappearing these people off of the streets. They're denying student visas because people are Muslim. It's scary.
Well, Joe, I mean, I hate to do this to you, but, this idea, it goes back to 1970, and it's your old party. It's Kevin Phillips, a guy named Kevin Phillips.
I know exactly. Yeah.
And he said, look, if we can just get our arms around the greatest number of animosities in America, even if we have to invent them, we can win. Yeah. So, turning people against each other has been stock and trade. And there's nobody left to turn against except the democracy itself now. And that's what's happened.
You're right. And this is a long time in my former party, and people like me did our best to just ignore it. Shame on us. But you're right. It's this idea that I want white Christian America back. So who are we going to blame? And we Republicans have been doing that for years.
But you know what? America was never that country. I mean,
no.
We've been through times like this. It's just that the majority hasn't been through things like this.
Right.
But from the Civil War until 1968, if you were black and in the South, you were through a time like this. They told you couldn't vote. There was quite aggressive policing and use of force and masked people scaring you to death. So we're just taking all those techniques that were used in Jim Crow to terrify black Southerners and said, you know what, anybody who's not MAGA, we're going to do that to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but America is not going to, it's just not going to put up with it, Joe. I mean, we're going to fight back.
I agree. You and I will go to our death fighting back. But this is going to be a difficult battle.
Yes.
Young men in their 20s and early 30s and teens are more driven toward MAGA. And Trump has increased his share of the white, black, and brown male youth vote. That's we got work to do.
Well, wait till he sends his troops into Chicago and says he's going to do something about crime. You know what? Because I mean, that's going to go down badly with everybody, including young men who are going to say, are you kidding me? You're sending, I mean, my brother signed up. He went, he did a tour. We always looked at the military as a path out of poverty in America. But what? You're now sending these troops back here to do what? That's not going to be, that's not, yeah. I mean,
it shouldn't, but Trump's going to point to your mayor, Brandon Johnson. He's going to make him the face and him the scapegoat. And
he's
in
going to
many areas.
Yeah, he's going to make, but the truth is, whatever Trump says, the tension is on him. He's the guy we're talking about, and which is what he wants after all. But
Right.
again, he looked at Vladimir Putin and he said, whatever you want, boss, right? You want Europe. Let's do it. A week ago, let's just remind ourselves. A week ago, he was repositioning nuclear subs and saying, I'm moving my nuclear subs because we need a ceasefire. And now he's saying, I didn't ever say it was ceasefire. What do you mean ceasefire? I meant give them the Donbass. Give them more area than, we want peace, so give up your country. There'll be peace if you just quit.
A week ago right now, he rolled out the red carpet in Alaska for Vladimir Putin. Think about that.
American soldiers roll out the red carpet.
American soldiers.
For Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
Disgraceful.
Utterly disgraceful.
Disgraceful.
On your knees. Yeah.
Yeah. Disgraceful. I mean, Barack Obama wasn't standing straight enough once when he met the king of Saudi Arabia, and everybody went crazy and said, oh, he's not defending America. He's not standing proud for America. This servile clown in the White House, has been to Saudi Arabia and said, you can have whatever you want, just pay me. And here he is with Putin. I mean, America's being disgraced by this man abroad and at home, and we're being hurt by him in ways that'll take years to overcome.
Yes. And as down as I am right now, we win by continuing to do what you and I are doing and everybody listening to us. And we continue to spread the word with everybody we know. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's call it what it is. I mean, Texas is Fort Sumter. Texas is a declaration of war. Texas is the MAGA crowd does not want to share the country with us. They don't.
Yes.
They want to deport or imprison or politically neuter anybody who isn't them. I mean, they're using the Justice Department to go after a Fed chair, John Bolton, Adam Schiff, you name it, right? They want to make sure that no one else has power but them. That's what the South did in the Civil War. And when, we said, yeah, you know what? We're not giving you the land. They took it at Fort Sumter. They fired shots on America. That's what this is in Texas. It's the beginning.
Edwin, you are so right. And again, it's not as big as what happened to Bolton, but I got permanently banned from TikTok 2 days ago. And I know that it's Trump because TikTok is beholden to Trump right now. TikTok shouldn't exist right now. They're only existing. They're living because of Trump.
I agree. And illegal, right? Just so everybody knows, Congress said this is a national security problem.
Yeah.
Chinese own it. It's illegal. And they appealed it. They went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said Congress has the right to make it illegal. It's illegal. And Donald Trump said, I'm not going to enforce that law. And worse, Joe, he had Pam Bondi send letters out to Apple and everybody else saying, if you put TikTok on your phones, don't worry, that's not illegal. But of course it is.
It
So,
is.
yeah,
And his White House launched a TikTok account this week.
yep.
And he's told TikTok to go after his most outspoken critics. So I've been banned, others have. And this is just this is fascism, trying to suppress the opposition.
Well, they put a monitor. CBS agreed to a monitor in their newsroom. I mean, that's why these conversations are so important. We have,
Yeah,
and and thousands like us have to make up for the fact that the major media companies in America have been
yeah.
compromised by his attacks. We have to buck up the universities. We have to buck up the law firms that haven't caved. I mean, there's no question he's a powerful adversary. I mean, um,
He's
again,
been
it feels like
able.
the fall.
He's
Yeah,
No, continue,
it
continue.
just, he's been on a roll. He got elected, and he's using his power for ill, and that's always going to be, was always going to be damaging, Joe. But, um, I
And
mean, I
he's using power he's not supposed to have. He has a Congress which has utterly laid down. 87% of what he's done is unconstitutional. The
and
courts are,
by the way, the courts say so.
yes.
Well, you know what? Congress is coming back, and there's a lot of stuff on the national agenda that's really important. But I think the first thing they're going for is Jeffrey Epstein.
It'll be
You
back.
know, it's going to be like, okay, let's pick up where we left off. You lying uh, sack of, um, you got these files. You promised to release them. By the way, you promised to release them yesterday. I don't think you did. You know,
Yeah, I think the Justice Department deadline is 5 o'clock today.
the new
Maybe
deadline is by
the new deadline.
to
Yeah,
start releasing.
thank you. I don't expect them to.
They'll find some they can release. You know, but they're not going to give us the whole thing. Not ever. Not ever.
Well, I owe you a thank you because I bet 30 minutes ago I was despondent. I'm not gleeful right now. I'm not euphoric, but you've picked me up a little bit.
Well, I mean, Joe, this is a long fight. And
Thank
we are
you.
gonna we're gonna lose some battles, we're gonna win some battles, but we're in the dark part. We're in the to go
Yeah, we
back
are.
to a World War II analogy. France has fallen,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
Battle of Britain, the last stand. This is a dangerous time, and what
yes,
right and all good Americans have to do what we have done in the past. You have to look in the mirror and say, do you care about a democracy? Do you want to be a light to the rest of the world? Do you want to be a place where you have personal freedom? Or do you want to live in a monarchy where the president gets to tell you what to think? I mean, it's not hard, but we have to be willing to do it. And if we are,
yeah.
we will wrestle control from them battle by battle.
Do you want to live in a police state or not? It's up to you. Yeah,
Seems pretty clear, right?
pretty
Now, and
obvious.
you're going to hear from a lot of Black Americans who go, "I'm sorry, I've been living in a police state." That's been the lived experience of some Americans, and one of the reasons why this has been a sort of odd moment in
Yeah,
that community.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
but but this kind of police state we've never seen.
No, no.
Never. Not even the pretense of justice. I mean, Donald Trump said, I forget the crime fighting you're doing. John Bolton annoyed me with a tweet. Get in his house. Uh, It's an
Yeah,
abuse of power like you can't imagine.
yes. And again, it's at the point where I'll always blame him, but I almost don't blame him because we've enabled him to do this. We've
Can you imagine
created
your
a
old friend
monster.
Jim Jordan if a Democrat did this? Can you imagine?
Jim Jordan and I last spoke
Yeah.
5 or 6 years ago, and
Yeah.
not since. But you're right.
Well,
Barack Obama. Yeah,
so let's play. I mean, I kind of want to say to some of them, you've got the skills to fix this problem. You've shown that you know how to do it. Like America's counting on you. Step up, brother. Step up and do the right thing. I don't think you will. I don't
he
think any
won't.
of them will. But
No,
you know, but if they lose, we're coming after them.
have to, have to, have
Yep.
to hold people accountable. And every Democrat running for office should say that. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Joe. Well, we've flown through another week. We'll do it
Thank you, my
again
friend.
next time you pick me up.
Have a good weekend. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Subscribe to both of us. God bless you all.
Take care.
Thanks, man.
Bye.